Traxxas Aton folding props project. Okay, we're folding the props and showing you how easy it is to put them in the Harbor Freight case. Anyway, let's get this project started. You're going to need the Mavic Pro, those are carbon fiber props, and then the Blade 350QX prop adapter set, also the Blade 350QX prop nut set, a couple of 6mm drill bits, twist drills, and that's the first one, and there's the second one. And let's get started. We'll examine the carbon fiber Mavic Pro props. Those props are 8330F is what the model number is on them. They're about 8 inches. And the pitch seems to be quite similar to the stock plastic blade. Now the Mavic is a boltless locking blade that you push down and turn, and it locks the blades on the quad, and we're going to take those tabs and remove them. And then we start out with the prop adapters. They are made for other quadcopters as well, and on the Aton only the 2 screws will attach to the motor, and we'll use Loctite for that eventually. Right now we're just examining and seeing what kind of holes, what we got to drill out, because the prop adapter has a different size, a smaller hole, and the blade has a smaller hole. Prop adapter is a 6mm shaft. So we're just setting it on there and imagining it finished. Same pitch. We also have the Loctite. Now, first thing we do is we're going to take the propellers apart. Now, on some of these propellers, you have to take a soldering iron and just touch the tip to the brass, threaded brass insert on the bottom of the prop, because they factory used green Loctite. There's the little brass threaded sections, and that Loctite caused some of the threads to be filled with that green Loctite. Made them a little tough to get apart, and once I got the screws out, I actually had to take an X-Acto knife and kind of scratch that off to get those threads to be clean again. This is the 6mm drill bit. It's going to go right through. Looks like there will be some plastic body left, which is good. That's looks like it's going to be a good fit. So what we want to do is put those blade screws back in. And once we get them tight, we don't want to get them too tight and warp the blade hubs, because we don't want to crush them too tight, since there's no blade inside the hub. So we're tightening it down. Looks good. And I use the little Allen wrench there to just check to see if it was parallel. Look how it was straight to me. Just want them to be good, nothing warped. So now we're ready for some drilling. When we get to the drill press, I'm just using something I know is 90 degrees, and I'm just double checking that the drill press plate and the drill press vise are exactly 90 degrees around the drill. I'm just doing a little practice here. And then here goes the cut. It'll pull itself center, but you want to kind of float it. The actual hub is moving in the vise a little bit because I don't have it too tight. I just didn't want it to twist. But you can see it shifted a little bit there. But that's what you want. You don't want it to overfloat. Now then you go back and just put a little bit of pressure around it till you get it where that 6mm fits very tight. And you got a good straight cut. And then I use a larger drill bit to ream that top off. I just kind of demonstrated it there, but I had to get a larger bit. We got an excellent fit here. It's very tight. The next step is I'm just taking the extra bit and I'm putting it in a vise, the same drill press vise. You can get those at Harbor Freight, by the way. And I'm also using a disc sander. Hub is placed on that drill bit to make sure it's straight, and then very gently we're going to grind those tips off. So we'll start we just started up the grinder, and then we're just gently pushing down. And the key here is to grind them off, but do not grind into the brass threads. And another thing too, you want to check that your screws are backed out so that they're not sticking out of the brass threads. And that turned out good. We did all 4 of them. And now I'm adding a little bit of Loctite to each one. And I went ahead and put the base on the adapter, the 6mm adapter. That's to help make sure that everything is straight when it's all tightened down. Now I'm using a little bit of sandpaper to take the lacquer off, the shine off that lacquer. And then I added a tiny bit of petroleum jelly to act as a resist if any of the Loctite squeegees itself up into the joint. We don't want that. But it turns out quite nicely here. Just a little bit. I mean, practically none. And then if there's any extra around the edge, wipe it off with a paper towel. And then begin the assembly here. We want to get that taken care of. Put it on there. Put the screw in. A little bit fiddly. Okay. And then the other blade. And that screw. Push it all together. I'm going to tighten these up. And there we we go. And you can see the blade lift up once the compression is started. And you want to get these as tight as you can so that they don't well, we're showing you here that the Loctite, you can see the blue Loctite around the threads on each bottom. Very clean installation there. The next thing you do is just kind of cinch it down and get it to the right tension. You want it so that the blades do not move. That you can fold them, but you want them to be tight so that when you open them out, full extension, you do not want to be able to move. And you can do that just by shaking the, if you have it right, that's how it should be. They shouldn't move. But if you want to fold them, there's your fold. So now you have to do that to all four. You can see how the bottom has been very carefully shaved flat, and it looks like a successful assembly. And there is no, there's no floppiness, and it's all squared up. So the next step is to get the those Blade 350 QX CNC prop adapter set. That's prop adapter set NC0161 is the model number of that prop adapter set. So we'll pour out the screws, and of course you got extras because you're only going to use 2 on the quad, the Aton. And as you notice, I'm putting it together without Loctite because we're doing a trial build at this point. If the blade is going forward, the nut was tightening. Now the blade is going backwards, the nut comes off. So we're just double checking the threads on the prop nut set. And then we're looking at, this is the proper blade, and we're looking at the pitch. And notice that the CNC Mavic blade, and no matter how you turn it, it's the pitch is opposite. So we'll grab another one, same thing, that was opposite. Grab another one from the right hand side, and there it is, the proper pitch. The front of the blade should be pointing upward. And in this trial fitting, I put the washers on that came with the kit. But when I go to final assembly with Loctite, I decide to not use the washers because the prop nut set is designed to act like a washer. Anyway, turn it forward, and as you turn it forward, it tightens. And then we want to do this trial fit for all of the props. Just double checking the pitch. Okay, so we do all 4 of those, and we take those 4 and we run those out and do a little test flight, and everything worked out great. So now we're back from the test flight, and we're doing the final assembly. So we're just putting a little tad of Loctite on those units, push them down, and I'm not going to use that washer this time. Good and tight. Alright. This was the opposite rotation. And we'll take that one off. Again, the drilling turned out very well because they're very tight. And these guys, we're going to do all 4 of the CNC adapters. Just put a little dab on the tip and cinch it back down. Make sure they're good and snug. And as you can see, if they're spinning in the forward direction, the nut is tightening. And that's what you want. And there's a fold up. Test flight was beautiful. These props are quiet. They're powerful. I'm very pleased with it. Get rid of that washer. And now it's time for a little Loctite on the 3rd motor. Just gently tilt them over. You can see the nuts sticking through. Put a little bit of Loctite on there. It doesn't take a lot. You don't want it all over the place. You certainly wouldn't want so much as to fall down into the motor. If you get the right amount of Loctite on something, you'll see it like in the earlier those earlier bolts that go into that hold the props on, or the blades on. You just barely see the blue around the edge of the threads, because once that dries in 24 hours, you'll have a good strong resistant. It won't come loose. Okay, fold it up. Nice little fold. And the last one, showing that leading edge, the direction it goes. Then go backward. Got to get rid of the washer. And we're going to take that one off. And the last 2 nuts. Bolts. Okay. You can see the threads. Just a little tiny bit of thread lock on there. Actually, it's off camera, but I'm actually turning the T, putting a little extra strength on the wrench from the T portion of the little Allen wrench. There it is. And the blade goes this direction. And as you can see, it would tighten on. Get it good and snug. Not too tight, but good and snug. And there you have it. And you fold your blades up. And this is your final step here. And at this point, you want to put the quad away for 24 hours. and let that Loctite do the work. So we're going to put it away and see you in 24 hours. We're going to test these props. It's very windy today. Alright, make sure they're all good and straight. There we go. Turn on the controller. Gosh, it is very windy. I don't know what the wind is like, but anyway, I'm gonna sit right here. Like that. Alright, back up from it. Now we're waiting for the lights. We got waiting for the satellites to connect. The prop nuts look really good. You got 2 black ones and 2 silver ones. I found on eBay another set that is all silver ones. It's very cloudy. If you pan up in the sky, you'll see it's very cloudy today. It's a lot of wind. A lot of wind. Okay, so we got all our lights. Let's try that again. This thing really flies good. It's currently in GPS mode. Even with all this wind, it's a heavy wind. So I put it and it's in sport mode now. Now, William, see if you can keep up with it. I'm gonna race straight up with it. Look how powerful that thing is. Bring it back down. Okay, here we go up. Beautiful, and I'm not going all the way up. I'm going about 3/4 on the stick. This wind is ridiculous. That's back at GPS mode. And it's holding a good hover. But it's just so windy. Let's get it on the ground. Beautiful. The props turned out wonderful. I considered it a success. The reason I bought the Traxxas Aton is because it's got a lot of power and it's an easy modder. You can do all kinds of mods to it. I plan on painting the body and doing all kinds of things with the paint job and the looks of it.
But I'm very happy with those props, and let's just call that a success, even though it's too windy out here today. If you put the camera on the weather vane over there, see it? It's real gusty. You'd have to zoom in on that.